This is my president.
Everybody,
What?
as we approach Veterans Day, I wanted to stop by and just say thank you for your extraordinary service to you, your family. The sacrifices that all of you made to protect our country is something that will always be honored. And we are very grateful, and we also happen to welcome you with the 70-degree day in D.C., which doesn't always happen around here.
That's the first time I've seen a president, former or current, greet an honor flight, and that is absolutely amazing.
Sometimes I feel like this country took this man for granted compared to what we have now. That man would never. That man did a whole speech and boasted about himself and his administration and what he felt like was good for everybody. And this man is not even president anymore, and he still is doing the duties that some presidents have not done in years. Still honoring people, carrying yourself with dignity. Like, it makes me sad to think that that is the man that's representing us. It makes me sad. And it makes me miss him. Damn, I miss that man. I hate that man in office now.
We've been in a clusterfuck of a nation and leader after leader who has either been incoherent, accused of having dementia, not been in his right mind for so long. I forget what a real human leader looks like.
As we approach Veterans Day, I wanted to stop by and just say thank you for your extraordinary service to you, your family. The sacrifices that all of you made to protect our country is something that will always be honored.
It's Veterans Day, and we have two scenarios happening right now. We have President Barack Obama, which did the stately thing to do, which was greet veterans and surprise them on a flight. Then we have Donald Trump, who doesn't know the words to God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside. Tells the veterans that they should die without complaining.
Dear God, he said, we ask only this, that if we die, we must die, and we as men would die without complaining, without pleading.
And is just basically running this country into the ground. And I say this because since 2016, really, our nation has been one dumpster fire after another of not really having faith in a leader, not really believing in a leader, in his capacity to lead, in his coherency, whether he's mentally sound. And obviously Biden wasn't as bad as Trump, because Trump is ridiculous and is ushering in all the hate in the world. But under Biden, we still were like, do you know where you're at? Do you know what you're doing? And that was evident when he didn't let Kamala Harris run from jump and, did the whole presidential election. But seeing Obama greet these veterans and seeing how happy they were and seeing how he speaks to people, regardless of race, regardless of religion, regardless of class, and seeing how we have Dementia Donnie in office and seeing how he speaks about poor people, how he speaks about black people, how he speaks about anyone who isn't his billionaire friends or the ladies with their faces too shot up with filler at Mar-a-Lago. It just sucks. It sucks not to be inspired by a leader. Not to say politicians actually ever really give a fuck about us in the way that I want it to be, but there's still something to be said about believing in someone. This is why Zohran Mamdani won the New York election. There's a certain aspect of believing in him and ushering in change and believing that he'll fight for the people and believing that he understands.
Good morning. So on Tuesday, November 11th, 2025, the former president of the United States of America, our own brother, Mr. Barack Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. Let me call him by his full names. November 11th, 2025, or November 11th, is always a Veterans Day, right? So we had this big, massive airplane carrying the veterans of war, people who fought for America in the world wars, in the First World War, the Second World War, and also in some parts of the Vietnam War, yeah? So America wasn't really involved on the First World War as much as in the Second World War. But, Obama made a very very, very powerful statement to these very people who are old by now. You know, they are old, some of them have died. You know, they went through a lot to fight for the people of America, you know, so that America could have its own good name and liberation. But it turns out that they are always neglected. Nobody cares about them. It took a whole president, you know, a whole black president to come ahead and talk about how important these veterans are to the United States of America. So without further ado, I want us to listen to this because it brought both blacks and white people and all other races together. People had more and more reason to laugh despite the challenges that are there in this Trump governance, right? So let's watch this video. Let's hear about the American white and the American black people's reaction. Let's dive.
It's Tuesday, November 11th, 2025, also known as Veterans Day. And what is our current president, the orange one, talking about on Veterans Day? Well, of course, Barack Obama. A racist tirade, reposting horrific things about Barack and former First Lady Michelle, and reigniting birtherism. That's what our president's doing today. Reigniting birtherism. We have fallen so far, I don't have words for it, and I honestly never thought I'd be a political person on this place. I thought I'd talk about drones and aliens, and I am just so incensed that I have to vent to all of you. Because this week, between the churches not getting baby food for the crying baby, and it's just like we have no empathy anymore. We are just so toxic for ourselves and for everyone else. Like, it's just, I guess we blame the internet. Did it all start going in 96, 95? Is that when the slide began? Because I love the internet, but maybe it was the internet. Maybe it was. That's all.
So we're clear, MAGA, your guy will never ever make people feel like this.
Hello, everybody. What? As we approach Veterans Day, I wanted to stop by and just say thank you for your extraordinary service. To you, your family, the sacrifices that all of you made to protect our country is something that will always be honored. And we are very grateful, and we also happen to welcome you with a 70-degree day in D.C., which doesn't always happen around here.
That's the first time I've seen a president, former or current, greet an honor flight, and that is absolutely amazing. A commander-in-chief, a leader who's going to show up and tell you that your service was worth something. I think that's the important part, so I think it was a great thing that happened.
Last time I got to see a president, it was Gerald Ford.
How about that?
Never.
On Veterans Day, we're supposed to honor the brave men and women who put their lives on the line for this country, but Donald Trump simply can't do that. He just had to make this speech all about himself and, of course, spread a few lies while he's at it. Take a look at this.
Veterans, we have a 92% approval rating. We took that up from 38% from a certain previous administration that we won't mention.
A 92% approval rating. That's a lie so big you can see it from space. It's unbelievable. Donald Trump's not using Veterans Day to honor the veterans. He's using it to honor himself. His ego is out of control, but the crazy part is he expects people to believe this nonsense instead of reality, polls, and actual data. We're currently 295 days into Donald Trump's second term, and he has a 39% approval rating. That's, of course, nowhere near 92% like he's trying to claim, but over half of all Americans blame him directly for making their lives worse. The contrast here is crazy. Today, Barack Obama surprised a flight of veterans as they were entering D.C., shaking all of their hands and saluting them. He looked them in the eye and honored their service with genuine gratitude and respect. That is leadership. You can feel the difference here. One man uses veterans as a backdrop for his own ego. The other one shows up to shake their hands and salute them. One of them makes everything about himself. The other one knows it's not about him, it's about them and the country.
The majority of people who ran the US military for decades are now veterans by way of forced retirement, as the Trump administration spent the last 10 months purging the armed forces of anyone who wasn't deemed sufficiently loyal to the president, regardless of their loyalty to the country.
Donald Trump, a man who, by the way, evaded the draft 5 times. 5 times he had the opportunity to serve during the war in Vietnam, and 5 times he came up with bogus reasons why he should not have to go, to include getting doctors to lie about having a bone spur.
Senator Duckworth is one of those thousands of veterans who have come out against Donald Trump as commander-in-chief. And so far, she's been right about the ways he's abused his office, both big and small, from politicizing what is supposed to be a non-political body.
Our military is one of those last institutions in America that maintains the respect and the admiration of the American people. And the people who serve in our military choose to serve in order to defend the Constitution, to protect the United States of America. They did not join up in the military to go and patrol the streets of the city and do policing functions and to intimidate fellow Americans from living their lives. Really a misuse of our military. Our military needs to remain outside of politics. And yet you see a Secretary of Defense, you see a president who continue to use our military as little props in their political games. And to me, that is egregious, it's sickening, and it really disrespects the men and women who serve in uniform, who are far better than that.
To, like she said, having soldiers patrol the streets of US cities like they're occupied war zones. A stunt that's main accomplishments include intimidating civilians and hurting military families.
I served for 23 years. If I were activated to be fighting our nation's enemies overseas, or if I was activated to be helping Illinoisans recover from a flood on the Mississippi or a tornado in central Illinois, that's fine. I would be proud to be doing that. You know, if I'm going to be away from home at Christmas and Thanksgiving, I want it to be because I'm serving my country in a way that my community needs me. Not that I am being marched around our nation's cities to intimidate Americans and to try.
There's no better person to do that than a president of the United States. And the best president of the United States to do it is this president, who took a veterans flight and surprised some of our veterans, our forever president. Watch.
This honor flight is to honor all the veterans of World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. It's all free for them. We show them all their monuments and explain what their monuments are about. We just try to treat them with dignity that some of them didn't get when they came home from the war.
Hello, everybody. What? As we approach Veterans Day, I wanted to stop by and just say thank you for your extraordinary service. To you, your family, the sacrifices that all of you made to protect our country is something that will always be honored. And we are very grateful, and we also happen to welcome you with a 70-degree day in D.C., which doesn't always happen around here.
That's the first time I've seen a president, former or current, greet an honor flight, and that is absolutely amazing. A commander-in-chief, a leader who's going to show up and tell you that your service was worth something. I think that's the important part, so I think it was a great thing that happened.
Last time I got to see a president, it was Gerald Ford.
How about that? So nice.
It was a joy in my heart today to see all these people. It's good. We still got people in our country, and that's good.
I had tears in my eyes. I just couldn't believe that there was that many people around that remembered us and was there to greet us, and it was just unbelievable.
Well, it means a lot because back then you got off the plane there and you had no welcome and people were almost booing you.
I'm real happy that now with current troops that come back from deployments, they get welcomed back really nice because that's what should happen. So it's being recreated in this flight and it makes you feel good.
I haven't flown for 50 years. And I was in the military from 72 to 76. Our country puts these things up, these memorials, honoring the men and women that served. You couldn't ask for something greater.
This has been going on over 20 years, and it started out very small, and now a lot of states have their own hubs, and they raise their own money and they set up the whole flights. They set up where they're going to go, the buses, the flights. Flight like today from Madison, Wisconsin, will come in the morning and leave in the afternoon, and we'll get them around to every monument we can within reasonable time. Every city in this country has got veterans in it, I guarantee it. Go up and say thank you, and just tell them how much you appreciate them.
Let me just say right here, we appreciate them. I have veterans in my family. My late sister is a veteran. My dad was a veteran. My stepdad was a veteran. Many members in my family. And wow, all those people I mentioned are no longer here. But yeah, the forever president of the United States, Barack Obama, doing something that no sitting or former president has ever done. And that is meet that veterans flight and greet all those people. Did you see how happy they were to meet Barack Obama? There's none of that vitriol about, you know, as a fake president and all of that gross. Just very humble, the president was, and just very grateful. And it was just, you know, man, I miss that. Don't you miss those times? Be honest. Even if you're a MAGA, a maggot, or MAGA, don't you miss that when we were all at least not so divided? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not being Pollyannish. I'm not romanticizing the past, because I know how people felt about Barack Obama and all of the vitriol and the hate that he got, and the racists in his face, and all of the, the racist groups that popped up, and their memberships increased, and all the threats. I know all of that. But you know what he did? Barack Obama has famously done this. And that's what he did regarding his time as president of the United States. So that's not where we are now. And so I want to start with something to show you where we are. That's what we would like to be. That's what America really should be about. But unfortunately, we're in a time right now where Donald Trump tries to shape the narrative, even when the narrative is not in his favor. And that was part of the big problem that I had with Democrats, is that they don't understand that if you're explaining, you're losing. And I don't believe they understand what.
This right here is a photo of President Obama as he greeted veterans as they arrived in D.C. this past weekend. As most of you know, today is Veterans Day. And he greeted those veterans with just simple gratitude and to let them know, you're not forgotten, and thank you for your service. Now, as we all know, President Obama has always shown true leadership, true intelligence, always. So nothing that he does, even post-presidency, it never seems to amaze me, because he is that guy. Something that Trump will never be. That's exactly why every chance Trump gets, he tries to attack Obama. But I stand by him. He is my forever president, and Trump can never add up to the things that Obama was when he was in office. You don't like it, so what? But that's my belief, and again, Trump can never.
I've already done my crying, so I'm gonna show this to you so you can do your crying.
Hello, everybody. What? As we approach Veterans Day, I wanted to stop by and just say thank you for your extraordinary service to you, your family. The sacrifices that all of you made to protect our country is something that will always be honored. And we are very grateful, and we also happen to welcome you with a 70-degree day in D.C., which doesn't always happen around here.
That's the first time I've seen a president, former or current, greet an honor flight, and that is absolutely amazing. A commander-in-chief, a leader who's going to show up and tell you that your service was worth something. I think that's the important part, so I think it was a great thing to know.
Last time I got to see a president, it was Gerald Ford.
How about that?
It was a joy in my heart today to see all these people.
The man who currently sits in the White House is not an honorable man. He's a liar, a thief, and a cheat. A man who has said the most horrific things about our veterans, about our current service members, who treats them like they're his own personal police force and Gestapo. There's no respect, there's no loyalty, nothing. And seeing that made me nostalgic for a time when at least America was smart enough to elect a person with honor.
Hey y'all, this is George Cook at African American Reports. I just wanted to make sure that you all saw this video of my forever president greeting an honor flight of Korean War and Vietnam War veterans after their flight lands in Washington, D.C. Check this out.
Hello, everybody. What? As we approach Veterans Day, I wanted to stop by and just say thank you for your extraordinary service to you, your family. The sacrifices that all of you made to protect our country is something that will always be honored. And we are very grateful, and we also happen to welcome you with a 70-degree day in D.C., which doesn't always happen around here.
That's the first time I've seen a president, former or current, greet an honor flight, and that is absolutely amazing. A commander-in-chief, a leader who's going to show up and tell you that your service was worth something. I think that's the important part, so I think it was a great thing to know.
Last time I got to see a president, it was Gerald Ford.
How about that?
Now that's a president that gives a damn about our veterans and doesn't just see them as props to be used in political situations. Thank you, President Barack Obama, for respecting and greeting our troops like that, our veterans like that. All right, y'all. Goodbye and God bless, and happy Veterans Day.
Everybody. What? As we approach Veterans Day, I wanted to stop by and just say thank you for your extraordinary service. To you, your family, the sacrifices that all of you made to protect our country is something that will always be honored. And we are very grateful, and we also happen to welcome you with a 70-degree day in D.C., which doesn't always happen around here.
That's the first time I've seen a president, former or current, greet an honor flight, and that is absolutely amazing. A commander-in-chief, a leader who's going to show up and tell you that your service was worth something. I think that's the important part, so I think it was a great thing that happened.
Hey guys, I don't know if you've seen that video of former President Obama getting on a plane with the group of veterans that were on a flight together and surprising them and thanking them for their service and shaking your hands or not. I'll try to post this video on here if I can, but it was a great moment. Those veterans just, they just lost it. They couldn't believe it that President Obama was there greeting them on their plane. But here's my problem. I saw that video posted on another format, and all I saw was negative comments about it. There were so many people, and you could tell they were Republicans, coming on there saying, why does Obama have the right to do something like that? He is not the president anymore. He should be home with his wife. It is not his job to go do something like that. And then I saw another one like that, kind of like that before when I think Obama was overseas, maybe in the UK, and he was meeting with some individuals over there in the United Kingdom. Here's what I don't think people understand. You do know that Obama is a citizen, right? He can go anywhere in the world. He can talk to anyone he wants to. He can give a speech. He can show up on a plane. See, he's a former president. He can't go somewhere and do a deal or business for this country. Meaning he can't go do a peace treaty or anything like that. But say Colombia has a couple of our hostages. He's allowed to go over there with permission from the president to help with that negotiation. If he wants to go to Venezuela next week on a vacation, he can do that if he wants to. Now, he can't go to somewhere that our State Department has put a restriction on United States traveling there. But he can go anywhere he wants. If he wants to go to sit down with some veterans, he can do that. He can show up for a freedom fight. He was not there officially as a president. But here's the point. Trump wasn't there. So all he was doing was going and meeting some veterans and saying thank you and doing something that no one else was doing. And every veteran on that plane was just like, they lost their mind. One veteran said, "Oh my God, you're the second president." I think he said he had met Gerald Ford before many years ago, and that he was just so excited because Obama was like his second president ever. I thought that was a pretty cool thing, but it just amazes me the hatred in some people. And trust me, there were a lot of racist comments that were made because they were so upset that it was, I dare Obama go and see those veterans like that. He needs to get in his place. Really.
Former President Barack Obama greeted a plane full of Korean and Vietnam War veterans at the Reagan Airport in D.C. on Saturday, November 8th. You may have seen this on the news or social media. Well, according to rumors coming out of the White House and D.C., current President Donald Trump is extremely upset about the fanfare that this event has received. He thinks it's an obvious attention grab by the former president. While I am absolutely no fan of Donald Trump, I'm thinking we need to stop paying attention, to stop talking about this event, because he is a rather old man with kind of fragile health. He could easily have a stroke or a heart attack. So please, scroll away. Do not watch the rest of this video. Definitely do not repost or comment or like. Because, I mean, after all, the man is our president. Now, for those of you that must stick around, let's go through some photos, shall we? Here's Obama getting on the plane. Here's some veterans celebrating Veterans Day. Here's Obama shaking some hands and now making his announcement. All right, make sure you don't share any of those photos.
You know, it's so beautiful, it's so therapeutic, it's so, like, I'm feeling emotional seeing Barack Obama, you know, leave his home, leave his work, because he is going to do something very, very important, something really, really significant to the people of his own country, right? Imagine a whole president, Barack Obama, takes his time and he understands that there are people called the veterans, people who fought for the United States of America. Some of them have died, many of them, of course, and nobody really cares about soldiers when they finish their fight and when they have retired. Some of them go into mental depression. Some of them suffer PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, you know. Some of them even go mad because of they imagine the visuals, and those visuals really affect their mind, you know. So they need care, they need love, they need assurance, they need compensation, you know. They need respect, right? And it took Barack Obama to come and do this. You know, I didn't expect that the United States of America, the people, all of them, I didn't expect everyone would clap for Barack Hussein Obama. You know, if you do a noble thing, if you do a noble thing, no race, no tribe, no any propaganda will stop people from loving you. Because nobleness, nobody is allergic to nobleness. Nobody is allergic to nobleness. What Obama did was something noble. He respected and he knew the difficulties that these people had experienced during their times fighting the war, right? And in these times, I don't think Donald Trump, people would have congratulated him as people have congratulated Obama. You know, Obama went 2 terms straight, 2 straight. It's not like Trump who jumped to the next one. No, he went straight. This should tell you something. This is a man that the people loved. During the times of Obama, we didn't get to hear this so much noise as compared to right now that Trump is in power. No, we didn't get to hear this. Even though there were some this and that, which is normal. It's normal to always have this and that. But I'm really, really grateful for this president. I'm really, really blessed. I'm so emotional right now. I'm just waiting to finish this video, take my handkerchief and wipe my tears, right? Tears of love, tears of joy. Yes. Maybe you have any other thoughts. Help us rejoice what Obama did. Comment in the comment section. I'm really waiting to hear from you, and see you in the next one.